Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan, and this is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. Let me welcome everybody here. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Joellen.
Hey.
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Hi, Wally.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hello, Jenny.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Sergio.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Sumner.
Hey.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Oh, good, you heard me.
Maggie.
Mary was
Hi.
saying that hi, Maggie, sorry.
It's
Mary
okay.
was saying that she couldn't hear us well because of her setup for some reason, but she heard the greeting. That's good. I hope you can hear us well enough. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Very well.
Not too bad.
We're glad to see Joellen back after an illness, apparently.
It's a death, I'd call it more than anything else, but
Yeah.
I'm not one to complain.
Mm.
Ron, how did last weekend go?
Very well. Very, very well. It was a well-attended event. Caliopia is off touring the eastern part of the United States. She's in the Northeast now, so she may be coming by a yarn shop near you if you're in that part of the country. So take a look at your email lists and your local events. But we were able to raise about $1,000 in sales
wow.
for
Very good.
last week, which was, put a big dent in getting her orders shipped from the mill. So we're very, very pleased. And
Hey.
thank you again for letting us talk to you. Just sort of getting the word out and letting people know what's going on this side of the industry.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
So we're all kind of working together and doing our best. We sort of share the philosophy that a rising tide boys all ships. So we try and work together as much as we can.
Yes, well, we all try to support each other, don't we?
Mhm.
That's the nature of the knitting community, helping
If
each
it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have our supplies.
Right.
Or we'd have to make them ourselves, which
Oh, Lord. Nope. Oh, how's all that llama fleece doing?
Oh, yeah.
The alpaca, I can show you.
It so happens.
It just so happens that I've got a bobbin of about 75 grams of it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That this time last week was just a filthy wad of alpaca hair.
Yeah.
I literally just finished spinning this off. So I prepped this. Here's what some of it looks like.
Oh, very nice.
Lovely color. So I just start with wads of like right off the animal alpaca.
I mean, not back when I was young, if you were more like 300, but I could see 600.
I think that's Nick.
And using some fiber prep tools, specifically hand combs and hackle, like two very spiked thingies, and you comb it back and forth through combs. So this is a traditional worsted prep combed alpaca fleece. So
Have you had any takers for giving it away?
I know.
I know some spinners here, so I was going to tell them that you have some. So I guess I will.
Yeah, give them by email. I think I was the only sucker with a shop that would let whoever farmed these alpacas drop it off. And speaking gently, I'm not sure that the person who sheared the alpacas won any medals in 4-H.
Uh-huh.
it's full of like second cuts, and generally you want to cut the fleece off once, but if you run the clippers in the same area again, little short pieces get in there that you want to pull out. That's part of what combing does, but it's been fun. Is it something I'm going to keep doing? I don't know. I thought I would do enough of it to make us something.
Where's the farm? Is it near you guys?
Yeah, it's someone local to Bakersfield. Someone has alpacas. But it's a very short staple. It's about 2¼ inches. So it's shorter than anything I've ever spun.
Right.
But luckily, unlike sheep, alpacas don't produce grease. Like they're as oily as you or I. So they don't have to be scoured first before doing the fiber prep. You don't get greasy doing it. You get dusty, but then I'll scour the yarn once it's done and it'll be just fine. So I'll keep you updated, but that's what's going on in alpaca land.
Well, that's fun.
Well, let me introduce Nancy, who just appeared. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
Frank and everyone.
Hi.
I
Hi,
see
Nancy.
your first visit to
Hello.
us.
Hello.
You're only a visitor the first time, then you're a member of the group.
Wonderful. I'm excited.
And tell us what brings you to the group?
Well, the algorithm recommended your channel a few weeks ago. And I think it was because I was a little curious about TKGA and the Master Hand Knitter program. And I'd been watching videos and stuff on YouTube. And so it started recommending related, obviously, content. And I wasn't really interested for myself because I'm like, nah, I don't know how you did it, Frank. Kudos to you. You retired and then you went full force, full speed ahead and did it.
I did.
But I researched it a few years ago and I was like, that's too much, because we've got a grown daughter and she has 4 kids and my husband and I are both now retired. So when I'm not knitting or crocheting and, doing stuff around the house, we're watching the grandkids, So I just didn't, feel I had the time to dedicate to that. But anyway, I just watched one episode and I was hooked. And I've been binge watching ever since. I left a comment on one of your older episodes. I don't know if you remember, Frank. I left a comment on one of your older episodes a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
That was me. You probably get so many comments.
I get quite a few comments. Maybe if you tell me what you said.
I just said that I was loving. I'd had a little bit of wine, I must admit. I had some wine, and so I'm like, I was binge watching you guys, like, as you do. And so I said, I've been wanting to leave a comment.
I remember. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And so I left a comment. I'm like, I love you guys, or something like that. I feel like you're all my friends and all this stuff. But anyway, long story short, I did join TKGA thanks to all of you guys anyway.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Yeah. And yes. And I haven't really had a chance to, there's so much information on the site, as you all know. So I'm just barely dipping my toes in there. And, but I am super intrigued by your set and sleeve technique, Frank.
Oh.
And, Ron, all the ones he's made, and Cindy and all of you guys. So I want to start with the sample sweater. I finally downloaded it and printed it. And I just want to make it, just to make it, and then eventually start one for myself.
Great.
And
well,
so that's where I am. Anyway, I've just thoroughly enjoyed your content. You all are so much fun. I love Wally's laugh.
I know. We laugh.
And I learned so much. I don't mean to monopolize today's episode, but I learned so much from all of you. But just real quick, I'll just give you a little background on me. I'm in deep South Texas on the border, where it's our temperatures get hot, maybe not quite as hot as Bakersfield, but we have super high humidity. And so we're very hot, for most of the year, but we still knit and crochet here. As we like to say, there's a hashtag that says we knit in Texas, y'all. So we do knit in Texas. And we crochet. I'm actually, I was a crocheter first. And then I taught myself to knit back in the 80s, but it was pre-YouTube. And I didn't have anyone to teach me to knit. I learned to crochet from my mom and other relatives, but I always wanted to learn to knit. And so one day in line at the checkout counter at the grocery store, there was a Family Circle magazine. And it said, learn to knit your first sweater or whatever. So I bought it, and then I went to Walmart, didn't know what the heck I was doing, bought Red Heart Super Saver, and actually started knitting the thing in pieces, And then I abandoned it. I guess I got over it, but I didn't have any trouble. I remember I did it. I did the back, the two fronts, and then I abandoned it, and it went in a bag. And years later, I found it, and I frogged it, which I didn't even know that was a term back then. It probably wasn't. I don't know. And I wound up crocheting a blanket that I gave to someone.
Oh.
But anyway, back when Ravelry came around, that's when I was just so inspired by everything that's on the site. I'm a huge Ravelry proponent and user. I love it. And anyway, that's what got me to, further my knitting skills, although I still feel like I'm learning. Obviously, we'll never stop learning.
That's right.
But anyway, that's my story. And thank you all for welcoming me.
Very nice.
And if you
welcome.
want to see
It's
what
nice
I'm
to
working,
have you.
thank you all. If you want to see what I'm working on, I can show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm actually crocheting right now.
Okay. I will spotlight you. So
It's actually a crochet. It's a crochet.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, that's
Look at
pretty.
that.
I like
Excuse
that.
my messy
Nice.
craft room. This is some yarn that my niece got me. She and her husband went on a 20-year anniversary trip to Brazil a couple of years ago, and they got me this yarn. It's a cotton
wow.
with some stellina in it. So I'm actually going to crochet her a top.
Oh, lovely.
Wow, that's nice.
Very pretty.
Thank you.
That is really nice.
And I did finish this Flutterbutt shirt back here about a
Oh.
week ago. It's
Oh,
by Jessie
nice.
Maid. And the yarn is La Bien Aimée Cashmerino. It's a nice
Very
yarn.
nice.
Thank
A step
you.
up from Super Saver.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned a lot. Unfortunately, my wallet is suffering from it.
Yes.
All of our wallets
Yep.
suffer from it. Even the
Hi,
bank
Cindy. I
accounts.
didn't get to greet you yet. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank. I had a bunch of grandkids here, and so Jerry took them for a little bit and said, "Go and do your Franco."
Yeah.
Able to make. I don't know if I said this after we started recording. I am now in Mexico, in Bucerias, Mexico, which is an hour north of Puerto Vallarta. And Andrew and I purchased a condominium here in May, and so we'll be coming back and forth a lot. I thought it would be extremely hot, and it's only 83 degrees here. It is a bit humid, but we sat out on the deck all morning and felt perfectly comfortable. It's completely, it's not as unbearable as we thought it would be. So we're very pleased about that. So I'll probably come back again in July just to see how bad it is in July.
Test the water.
To see if I can take another month. Come back.
How long does it take you to get there?
It's a direct flight from San Francisco to Puerto Vallarta Airport, and it's 3.5 hours of flight.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
wow.
real bad.
Long. Yes.
It's half of what, I mean, almost half of, a little more than half of what it takes to fly across the country.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then we're about 45-minute drive from the airport.
Mm.
Oh,
So
it's not
it's
too bad
nice.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Mexico.
Is that a touristic, a crowded place, Frank? Because Puerto Vallarta is really touristic.
Yes, it is. And Bucerias is less so, but it also has a lot of tourists in the tourist season. But the tourist season is from December to March.
Yeah.
And so right now, our condominium complex, which is a lot of vacation condominiums, it's practically empty. So we're here, there's almost nobody around. It's very quiet.
Nice.
So you can enjoy the beaches and everything.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's so funny. I wanted to kind of thank Nick.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Oh,
Kind of. So
Kind of.
I changed the color of my hoodie.
oh,
You started over.
Oh, you sure did.
I ripped out the other one and then I went with so Ron got me the Andyo Light by Jody Long, and I have a gray,
Yeah.
and I'm knitting it with mohair and silk
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
together,
Very nice.
so that it will help stop the pilling. So the issue that I was having with my other yarn, which was alpaca, it was the drape of it to get the gauge, I could like see through it. So it wasn't heavy enough for what I wanted for a sweatshirt. But being up in the Northeast, I actually need the sweatshirt to keep warm, probably most of the time. And so I've done this much knitting since Monday. So I
wow.
got my thing in my shoulders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Laying
Doing
pretty.
my
Beautiful.
setting
Yeah.
sleeve.
Mhm.
very
And
nice.
it's just
It's
this
lovely.
warm, fuzzy, cozy, gorgeous yarn from Ron, which is the Andyo Light. And funny enough, when I knit them together, I get gauge at Aaron weight. So the two of them together are giving me 16 stitches over 4 inches on US 9s.
Mm.
Very nice.
Wow.
I'm currently, Sumner, I'm doing a similar sort of thing. I'm using a BC Guard Lock Lomond lace, which is a single ply with a mohair silk. And I'm getting a similar sort of fabric as such. I think mine's a little bit more fluffy than yours.
Yeah.
It's a great way of combining something, isn't it?
But this was
Wow.
inspired by you
Wow.
and your comment about what to hold together for yarns. So I
Yeah.
got very similar colors,
Yeah,
and it's
I've
just
got similar.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yours seems to be about as fluffy as mine. It's kind of
Yeah, it's fluffy.
the mohair on it makes it really nice, doesn't it?
I love it. And I always
Yeah,
put a tag on it with my thing. I don't knit.
Really beautiful.
When I do my gauge swatches, I don't knit the holes in it. I just write, how did I get there?
Everything on a tag. That actually makes more sense.
Does
Well,
make
now I
sense.
know what yarn, what gauge.
Exactly.
Like I put everything on the tag.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I never forget what,
And what are you
Ron-
making, Nick?
Ron has a
What am I-
substantial selection of needles. And so I got a lot of Chow Glue needles from Ron. I actually replaced all of my needles.
Mm.
So
I did the same.
now I only use those. So thank you, everybody, because this I love. And I was not liking the other one. It was torture.
Oh,
You know when you pick the wrong yarn?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you
I
know
picked
it.
the wrong yarn. It
Yeah.
wasn't. This now will just, I'll be done this in 3 weeks. It'll be,
oh.
yeah. Now I'm comfortable knitting it.
And what's Nick making?
Oh, it was I had to have a Stashbuster. So I had a load of BC Garn Lock Lomond lace that I just didn't have anything to do with it. So I combined it with a Kid Sick mohair, and this is some sort of wedding shawl. I'm not going to use it for a wedding. I'll give it to someone, but it's quite a nice. You
Yeah,
can't
beautiful.
really see in
Yeah.
here, but
That is
Pretty.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
So-
very pretty.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
just using up a few balls of yarn. Well, I say using up a few balls of yarn because I'm combining this kid silk mohair with the single ply of lace. I had to buy 2 kid silk mohair balls to use up my yarn.
Exactly.
I can't wait for losing.
If I just had a little bit more of this, I could make that. Yeah.
That's right.
exactly how it was.
You can use up some of my yarn by buying more.
That was exactly what happened.
Nancy, it's contagious.
Knitting economics.
But I am so in love with this hoodie, Frank, now that I'm doing this yarn. I am so happy now.
I hope you love it when you finish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
It will.
I'm just one of those that I'm gonna wear all the time. It's just so cozy.
Well, this morning I ran into a learning curve in my knitting life. I'm knitting my husband a black vest, and it opens in the front, and the pattern has me knit the pieces knitted in pieces, so flat, front and back flat. So the back was super simple, and I thought, well, I'll soak it and pin it out so it's ready for me to stitch up the sides when I get the fronts done. And I was pinning it out, and I did, when I'm facing it, stocking that side up, the left side just was so stretchy. So that's the side where I knit across, I knit the last one, I flip, and then I slip the first purl stitch, and then I purl all the way across the back. So that side was super stretchy, and my other side was more rigid.
Did you not slip a stitch on the other side?
Yeah, I did. So I'm figuring out, this might be my second, or maybe my second project to knit flat and seam up. I think it is just my second one. And so I didn't consider about my tension, like, obviously I have a different tension issue on how I'm starting out the edges. Maybe my purls, I'm purling too tight. I have to figure that out. It just blew my mind that one side just, elongated and the other side was over here. If I didn't know it was the same amount of rows, I would have, German short rows in there somewhere. But I didn't know if any of you guys, it's all going to work out because I'll be seaming up the edges, and one side that's loose will be seamed to a tighter tensioned edge. So I'll be able to work it out. But I didn't know if anyone else had run up against that issue before.
Are you snugging up your purl side?
I'm snugging up my purl side.
What kind of yarn is it? Is it cotton?
100% wool.
Oh.
So what I've learned from, and Cindy will back this one up, from 30 weeks of boot camp, I have the certificate to prove it. Did I show you guys? I was so excited. I think I did. Yay, right?
Yay!
I got my gold star because I completed all of my projects.
Very good.
Sandra, I had a miserable time with my tension when I first started joining this group.
Okay.
And I'm watching all these like professional knitters, like really serious, stupid good knitters, like Frank, Ron, right? And I'm like, Cindy, I'm like, oh my God, I hate these people. But so I had to work out knitting in flat, how to get my tension the same, because I've been knitting in the round for years.
Yeah.
I started knitting flat. I didn't knit in the round when I started knitting, but that's all people do these days. So if you hold your needles perpendicular to each other and you only knit on the tips and purl on those same tips,
Okay.
That's going to improve the length of the fabric on your one side that you're favoring when you do your turn.
Okay.
And I probably would not slip the first stitch of any row. I would actually knit it. It's okay to have a messy salvage edge because you're going to seam it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be probably a little bit more squared up.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I was thinking of asking the group, how many of you do slip the first stitch?
Never.
No.
No,
I
Never.
used to.
No.
I used to.
no.
No.
Well, now I will
don't
say
either.
I don't ever for anything that's going to be seamed, but like I'm knitting this it's a cowl that just so you want the edge to look smooth. And it does
Oh,
have
yeah,
a slip
yeah.
stitch edge,
Yeah.
and that's part of the pattern. But for anything that you have to seam that you want it to go all the way, no, I always I'll have. I mean, if you have to, you can do it in seed stitch, but I like to just have just a plain stockinette edge or a garter edge. It makes it so much easier to seam.
If I'm
And,
doing a pattern that as written doesn't have a column of stockinette, I put one in. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Disobedient in that way. But yeah, like a decorative
I do
slip
too.
stitch. Yeah, let's discuss it.
Yeah,
But
it's
a
a
slip
different.
stitch for any
Yeah,
practical
but no,
reason.
where you're no,
seaming.
it doesn't. No, it's not good.
Can
It-
I can I
easier.
share with Sandra what I did when I was seriously getting into my knitting is I knit myself a swatch in light coloured yarn in stocking net about so big, so about 40-50 stitches wide by about 50 stitches high. And every time I did a purl row, I marked it with a black pen. So all my purl rows had a marking of a black pen on it. And then what I did was cut both selvages off and measured how much yarn I was using for my knit rows and how much yarn I was using for my purl rows. And it turned out I was about 3 inches more yarn in my purl rows, and I was knitting my purl. Sorry, I was knitting my purl rows too tight. It was 3 inches less. I wasn't really rowing out because it was insignificant on the reverse side, but in actual fact, all my purl rows were tighter. And that just made it. And then I knew logically what I had to do when I was doing stocking net to make it all actually perfect. And it was a real eye opener to actually do that, to actually cut the selvages off and just measure how much yarn you're using for a purl row or for a knit row. You might find that you've got quite a drastic difference, and then you know how to actually correct it.
That's a great tip. So you just use like a Sharpie and just went across?
Yeah. No. I didn't go all the way across. I just kind of marked it every so often on a purl row. So I had black marks on my purl row. And then when I cut the selvages off, you could unwind it, and I lined up all the purl rows and I lined up all the knit rows, and there was an obvious difference in the amount of yarn I was using between my knits and my pearls.
I think Susan Bryan has a video about that.
Yeah.
Susan Bryan has a video about that, I think. It's very interesting.
She does.
It's an interesting thing to do. Yes, you're right, Nick.
Great idea. Great idea. Well, so I'm not going to slip a stitch. I'm just
Another thing that I did, because I was having trouble figuring out where I was different and what I was doing different, because I felt like I was being so careful to keep the tension to feel the same in the yarn for both knits and pearls. And I took the taming tension class with Binka Schwan. And one of the things that she wanted at the very beginning was a little short video of me knitting and purling so that she could kind of see how I held my yarn and that sort of stuff. And it was just like 15 or 20 seconds. It was not, maybe it was 30 seconds, but it wasn't very long. But the really weird thing was when I watched this, I had Jerry pulled over my shoulder. It was pretty funny. But anyway, when I watched it, I found that for knitting, and of course I was more on the tips, but for knitting, I was at a 90-degree angle. For purling, I was more this way, much flatter. And so you think about if you take a carrot and you cut it straight across, you're going to have a total circle. And if you cut it at an angle, you're going to have this oval-y thing, which is longer. And so the way I was holding my needles when I was purling was traveling a greater distance. And so those were making it bigger, even though the tension on the yarn was the same. I wasn't pulling hard on one or loose on the other. It was the distance that it was traveling because of the way I was. So I had to practice to hold them always at 90 degrees. Yeah. Don't hold some here and some like this. And without doing that video, I never would have realized, because I thought I'm doing everything exactly the same. What am I doing? But I wasn't.
That's a great visual with the carrot cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone, because I was awestruck at the difference. It's called stretchy versus not stretchy.
It's really common.
Okay.
Yeah, it is really common.
It's very common.
Sandra, I hope you were hoping to get a lot of advice, because you asked this group and you got a lot of advice.
You know the hours you saved me on searching YouTube to figure that out. I'll just save all my issues for Franco.
Yes, that's why we're here. There's a wealth of knitting knowledge in the group right now, and we all share it with each other.
Yeah.
Learn from each other.
We can't take the classes right now because of our personal life, so we get all the little tidbits from everybody. That is good.
By the way, I thought about something, Nancy, when you said you thought the master hand knitting certification seemed like too much work. When I did it, that was all that was being offered, and I didn't know if I would be able to do all that work when I started, but I really got obsessive about it, and so I ended up doing it over a 2-year period. I'm real glad I did, because I also learned to write patterns, and I learned and I wrote several reports and book reviews and all kinds of things like that. But then after that, they introduced a new program for people who didn't want to do all that writing and researching, and it's called I think it's called the Professional Knitters Certification. And it's just focusing on learning all of the knitting techniques that is in the other certification program, but it's without the book reports and the reports and writing patterns. So it doesn't cover all of the writings and research stuff. So it's
Thank you. I think I did notice that was on the site, and I've heard you all, like I said, I'm watching older episodes, talk about the basics.
Yes.
Also offered by TKGA. So I'm contemplating maybe doing that one first. Which would you recommend that I do first? I wouldn't mind doing the one you mentioned, the professional knitters. That one sounds like something more attainable for me.
Yes, that's what it sounded.
Or would you recommend that I do the basics first?
The basics course is a shorter course.
And
but they're different.
Cindy has done both, right? And I think people have done both. I've never done the basics course.
I've done basics. I've done taming tension, and then right now I'm forever on level 3 of the master hand knitting. But the master hand knitting and the professional knitters is a certificate, and it is where you do your work on your own, and you do it all and then send it in and have it critiqued and evaluated. And they do really want you to learn knitting, but it's not a course. It is a certificate that you are proving that you have mastered these things. Where basics, taming tension, and they have other classes also there with TKGA are actual classes that you work one-on-one with an instructor. You get the lessons. If you have questions, you email back and forth. They're kind of right there saying, it's like, oh no, you need to do this. And I know with the taming tension stuff with Binka, where it's like, I can't figure this out. I've done this stuff. I don't know. What is it? Send her pictures, she'd stuff back and say, okay, I think it's this, try this. And then that is that way. So one is a course and one is a certification. So they're
Thank you for
different.
that.
So it's like what do you want? I started with basics
Right.
because I wanted to see how I did and where I was and get used to having someone evaluate my work. See if like, am I even in the ballpark? But everybody does what works for them.
Sure. Well, they both sound interesting to me. I mean, I guess I could do both eventually, or one or the other. I don't know. I would like to improve my, my finishing skills, my gauge, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after listening to you all. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a lousy knitter, So
there is a class on finishing.
We're our worst
stuff,
enemies.
I'm
Our worst
also knitting a
critics.
sock.
We're our worst critics.
I just wanted to mention that I put down my crochet and I'm knitting a sock because it's just a simple vanilla sock.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And I've got it in my pride bag by Whimsy Stitches.
Oh, I love it.
I pull it out every June.
Very
And then the yarn just coincidentally happens to be kind of rainbowish.
Oh, nice.
And the yarn is a Queensland Perth, a commercial yarn. Yeah, because I got to a point in the crochet where I'm like, oh, no, this is not Zoom crochet. So I had a sock handy just for that purpose.
Very good.
I bought myself this the last show I
Oh, Nick.
Oh, I love it.
Gosh, Nick.
There you go.
Now it's an adult channel.
Oh,
It's an
God.
adult channel now. Frank's gonna have to edit that out.
Don't you dare, Frank.
So, Sumner, did you mow your lawn this week?
What? I'm sorry, I got a bad connection.
I thought so. After the video, I got to go out and do the back. So.
I'm gonna do it in the morning. I had to shovel a lot of gravel, like rocks.
Yeah. Well, I do it in the back because the sun's low enough that it's nice. But I get in the house and unfortunately I got to take all my clothes off and I get 7 or 8 ticks on me.
Oh,
They're absolutely amazing this year.
Yeah, I had to shovel a lot of rocks in a wheelbarrow to make a French drain on the side of my house. I literally had to change 3 times. I sweat through my clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the lawn had to wait.
Is your lawnmower hard to push or is it?
No, it's automatic and it's an electric one.
Okay. Yeah, battery operated.
2 batteries in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just press the button and woo, there it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we had, and it was wonderful. It was a big difference compared to the physical that it took for me to mow with a gas operated one.
Yeah, push one.
They have a lot of little old ladies around here with those electric lawnmowers, and I'm like, okay, this little old lady's gonna buy one, and I'm glad I did because it's a lot easier to use.
Yeah.
So, congratulations on boot camp completion.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so much fun.
Is Suzanne still offering that?
She is, yes. She is still doing that. They're kind of hybrid courses where you review previously recorded content, and then once a week you get together and you discuss your work and you submit for a review. So yeah, Yeah, she's still doing it. She has a sock class coming up that I would love to take, but I just don't have the time.
Oh, I did this sock class, and somewhere I have so many of those little bitty socks where you just do every single toe, every single heel.
Yeah.
They were so fun.
It just so I got to travel this summer so I got to go to Colorado in a couple of weeks, and I just got with that in work. I just can't.
I love knitting vanilla socks for travel. I think they're the ideal project.
I always have socks to knit. I love them.
Sumner, you had to wait a while though, didn't you, when you wanted to go on the course? It was a bit of a
It was a lot. Yeah,
there?
it was
Yeah.
months. Yeah, I was on a waiting list for like 4 months.
Yeah.
I've gotten so strangely, I've gotten emails of people looking for how to enroll in the courses. I don't know if the information got lost. I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I don't know that.
I think it's that it has information on Ravelry in her group, in the Knitting with Suzanne Bryan group.
Okay.
That's where it is.
So Cindy, you did that boot camp as well, right?
Yeah, I did. I did all 3 boot camps, and then I did the sock. I did the buttonholes, and I did the pockets one that she did. So really, really good.
Now, what would you recommend first, like basics, or getting on Suzanne's wait
if you're
list?
interested in getting one of the certifications, I would do basics first, because it was fairly quick for me to finish. Where Suzanne's boot camp, it's isn't it almost like about a year?
It's a year.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
it
year.
is. I mean, even when you get in, it takes a long time to do it. It's a huge amount of information. It's excellently presented. It's really, really good. I learned something in every single class, and that was really good. So that one's real good too. But they are different.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
The basics helped me to be prepared to do the master hand knitter, of kind of like, here's what they're expecting it to be blocked like, here's what they're expecting for it to be, your edges, your tension, your gauge.
How much is that course?
Right.
So
I want to say I don't know for sure. It seems like it was about $150.
Okay.
And it's the 3, there's 3 parts, and you do each part and turn it in and do it. Although you can certainly email Arinda in between and get help, and I did. So that works out good too.
Yeah,
I saw
think
that
in those
Mary
couple weeks I'm gonna finally re-enroll in the masters.
So well, you were enrolled, right? Don't you
Yeah,
just
I
have
just
to do
gotta
the
probably
update?
like pay my $25 to extend
Yeah,
it.
it's not much to
But that's
update.
when I get back from Colorado.
From memory, I think it's 10. I'm not sure. I think it's 10. I lapsed my level 2 and had to re-enroll, and I can't remember how much I paid. I think it was only 10 though. I don't think it was 25.
Okay.
It might have been 25. I might be wrong. I'm not
And
sure.
what does it cost per level when you're starting now?
$150, is it?
Okay.
I think it's
that's
150.
what it was, but I'm not sure it's not a little bit more.
Okay.
But it was 150 per level, because of course all the shipping and everything went up, and that includes your going back and forth. It's all volunteers that review your work, so they don't get paid anything. It's to pay for shipping and materials and all that kind of
And
stuff.
I think I'm talking from an international person as well, because I think it's cheaper if you're in America. Or I had to pay an extra 50. I can't remember now. But the essay I had to write about evaluating a knitting pattern, the first draft has been done. Thanks to Cindy and Sumner. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And what level is that, Nick? What level are you working on?
Level 2. That was they because I lapsed it, I had to buy the new instructions. And the new instructions had been released since I let it lapse, so I had to buy the new instructions. And it was the evaluating knitting pattern essay that completely threw me because I couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah,
Until
it's like nobody's done that before.
No.
Yeah. So who has something to show us? We're getting close to the end of the meeting and hardly anybody has shown their work.
So I finished my sweater, my Franco.
Oh.
So here it is.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, how nice. Look at
I
that.
made it
Lovely.
short sleeve after all, but it's still too hot to wear it now.
How does it
So
fit?
you've got that lace and that dipped hem. That's really pretty.
Thank you.
How does it fit, Maggie?
If it's good, if it's good. I should have put it on, but it's too hot. So
Well, we'll look forward to seeing it in a few months.
okay.
I finished mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
look at that. Oh, wow.
And
Oh, I
I'm
love the color.
kind of doing the ends now, but it fits really good.
Yeah. Love the
So
color.
is that the yarn that was variegated, or did you actually include different yarn?
Okay, this is two different yarns. This one of them was variegated, and then the other was a darker green. It's Cascade cotton socks.
Oh.
And I just saw them. I thought, oh, that's so cute. And it's so hot here. Cotton is just perfect. Fingering weight cotton, lightweight. It's an Audrey Borrego pattern and had long sleeves, but I just cut them off. I didn't go and cut them off. I just quit. Even though it depends on the weather. Usually I try to get sleeves down to like here, but obviously this one was knit when it was hot, and this is knit when it was hot.
So that's what you have on is lovely too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, you'll have a nice new sweater to wear on your trip.
Well, I'm probably not going to do any sweaters on my trip because even though it's winter in the Southern Hemisphere, it's still pretty warm there. And everybody reports, and their literature reports, it's very, very dusty. And so clothing that's, in fact, my dental hygienist, I just had my teeth cleaned last week, and she was telling me that, she said, we didn't even bring our clothes home. They were so dusty.
Oh,
so we just love them. Somebody, people will love them there. And I'm thinking, I'm not taking my hand knit stuff.
No,
I couldn't abandon it. So I'm taking just cotton t-shirts that, and you do layers because it's pretty cold in the morning and then it heats up during the day. And so I'll just be doing some layers of light jacket that's washable and some just long sleeve shirts and some short sleeve t-shirts.
And remind me, I don't know if I heard, where are you going?
I'm going to Africa for 3 weeks.
Oh boy.
So mostly safari, a little bit of Cape Town and Johannesburg. But I think I'll be at 5 different safari camps, maybe it's 4 in Victoria Falls. And
nice.
I've never been to
Central
Africa. Never even really thought about going, except that a friend went and she said it was so fantastic. And everybody who's gone says it's so fantastic. And then she told me that this trip that this company that she used was really good with single older women. They kept spots, it's not age related. Single women is really a better way to put it, even though everyone in the group I've been with her is old. But she said that basically they do some spots with for solos without a solo additional fee, which is pretty rare because most tours charge you like 1.5 or more if you're solo. So I just went to the website to look it up, and they just happened. That was like in April and or early May, And they were just like, one of the little sales was this trip, because obviously because it wasn't full. And they had a solo spot, so I took it.
That's fabulous.
Wonderful.
Susan, you're not getting old. You're just ripening to perfection. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I know. I don't think of myself as old, but as my mother said when she was about this age, she said, I have to be so careful not to get my name in the news because they'll call me elderly.
Yeah.
So I can't be out there committing crimes, or they'll be saying, oh, this elderly woman.
It took my husband and I a few years before we realized we could take advantage of the senior discounts. It's like, what? We haven't been doing senior discounts? We didn't want to acknowledge, I guess, that we were old. Finally, we're like, hey, wait a minute, we're over 55. We can be getting these senior discounts.
Well, there's some useful things that have been put into the chat, so I'll just let you all know. Nancy tells us that Audrey Borrego's patterns on Ravelry are now free.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Write that in the description of the video. Audrey Borrego is spelled Borrego. And then Cindy found out all the right price, all the everything that we were guessing. So the certification current prices for level 1 is $105, level 2 is $125, and level 3 is $150. There's an additional $60 for level 1 and $75 for level 2 and 3 for outside the US to cover postage costs. The basics class is only $85. Thank you.
Those are a bargain.
Really good information.
Can we get access to those notes when it comes on YouTube?
Yes. The description of the video.
They're in the description, are they? Because sometimes I lose them and I think, oh, I wish I had that.
Oh, I also, whatever goes in chat usually ends up in the description.
Oh, right. Okay.
Of the video.
Thank you.
You have to click something to see the description, depending on what you're doing.
Okay, thanks.
For comments, I think.
No, it's not comments. It's description.
Not comments?
There's some if you're on a computer, then under the video there's a link that says show more. And you click it and you see the description.
Right.
Comments is a different section, and
okay.
That's the way it works. There are also ways to see it on if you use YouTube on Apple TV on your TV. I only recently learned that you can still see the descriptions. It's a little harder to get to, but you click up on the video and then that gives you the ability to choose some other things. Anyone? Yeah.
Did I Annie? Has she shown us her husband's sweater?
No, I've left it round my mum's by accident, so I've got no knitting.
Oh.
Well, I can share. I put the sweaters away for a moment because one of my employees is becoming a grandmother. So I have started a layette. So this is the blanket.
Oh, it's all blurry.
It's all blurry. I wonder why.
Oh,
there we go. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Closer to you.
Oh, it's your background. Put it closer to
oh,
you.
it's my. All right, let me change. Sorry. Come on. It's not working.
When you held it against your chest, still, we could see it.
Hold
it. There you go. Right. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, how nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like
that's
it.
lovely.
So, yeah.
Oh, no. Back.
Nope.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are those cables?
It's not really a cable, but it's knit in the back of the
twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twisted.
Yeah. Yeah. So Yeah, so it's going to have the blanket, a sweater, booties, and a hat.
Oh, cute.
Nice.
Mhm.
And the pattern's off for Ravelry, of course.
I've been doing more swatches. I may have shown this before, but this is Cotlin yarn from KnitPicks, Cotlin. It's a 50% merino and how do I show spotlight? There it is. I have trouble finding it every time. So this is 50% merino, 50% linen. And it's very drapey, and it feels like it would make a really lightly cool sweater. So I actually ordered enough yarn to do a whole sweater. And KnitPicks is so inexpensive. The yarn for the whole sweater cost, I think, about $100. And most of the time, yarn costs more than that for a sweater. So I tried doing some cabling with it down here. I don't think I like how the cables turned out. I really like the feel of the stockinette. So I'm trying to figure out what else I can do with the stockinette. Or maybe I'll just make a plain sweater out of this beautiful feeling yarn. Oh, I don't have the other sample that I had with it. Oh, well, I did it. Oh, there it is. I also did this textured yarn.
I like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I thought that looked kind of nice. So I might mix some of this in with stockinette. I don't want to do a whole sweater like this, but maybe I'll do little balls, just circular discs at various locations on the sweater in this textured amount with stockinette everywhere else. That's just an idea I've got right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Full texture.
What's that?
Can you hold the two of them up side by side, Frank?
Sure. And I also have the blur on, so there.
Yeah, that'll look nice with that.
Yeah, that's nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
You could do something subtle like a word or something in pearl stitches amongst the knit stitches. So there's the texture there, but it would be interesting to see how many people actually worked out that you'd spelt something out on your jumper or something like that.
Yeah. Yes. To figure out, use my creativity and come up with something. A word would be interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing rude.
Well, but remember when Ron did that, he used that stylized text kind of about the was it like shortwave radio or something?
Oh yeah, my dad's call
that was
sign.
cool.
That's
yeah,
right.
that was neat.
I had another sweater that I made him that was in a sort of hand spun look, like marble pulled yarn, that I did a little very subtle seed stitch monogram on the side of it, just like a little initial R that you have to look for.
Well, it's about that time. Somebody else want to show something real quick, and then we're going to have to say goodbye.
Some structures, but I have to try more. It's from Japanese.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
So, but I'm trying more.
I
Very
love
nice.
Japanese patterns. Aren't they wonderful?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sergio. Well, it's been another wonderful meeting, and thank you all. If you will hang around, I will have something I'd like to share with you, but not with the whole world. So let's all say goodbye, and I'll end the video.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.